Hello and welcome to Science from Home. I'm your host, Molly, and I'm also a librarian with Spokane County Library District. Today's experiment is about astronomy. For it, you will need a paper cup, which I didn't have, so I'm going to try and substitute a paper bowl, a pushpin, a pencil or pen. I'm using a piece of paper for practice, and then a flashlight, which is going to be my phone. Many different cultures have stories about the night sky. Indigenous Americans up and down North and South America, from the Aztecs to the Inuits. Constellations and stories also come from Japan and Korea and China, from the Arabics and the Indians. Folks living in the Western world, like we are, many of our star constellations and stories come from ancient Greece, actually. So it's interesting because all of these different cultures were looking up at the same night sky and they had the same idea. Let's find patterns in the stars and tell stories about them, and they did that. One of the most famous constellations in our night sky, and one that is relatively easy to find if you know what you're looking for, is called the Big Dipper. I've heard that it's called that because it looks like a giant spoon. I don't know if that's true for real. So we're going to try and sort of make a version of this. On your piece of paper, you want to draw out the stars that make up your constellation. You don't have to do the Big Dipper. I am going to. So I've drawn it out here. Each dot represents a star, and if I connect the dots, that's how we see the image in the sky. So I'm going to draw some lines. And now that I've connected the dots, it kind of does look like a giant spoon. Once you have your constellation, the stars for your constellation drawn, you can put it on top of your paper cup or bowl, and you want to poke holes through each star into the cup itself using your pushpin. So I'm doing that now. I'm just poking the dots, which represent the stars. Here we go. You can definitely do a different constellation besides the Big Dipper if you'd like to. You can look something up online. That will work too. So now I've poked holes into the bowl where the stars should be. I am doing this in broad daylight in my kitchen, which isn't a particularly dark room, so I recommend, if you have a darker place to do the next part of this experiment, to go find it. But I'm going to turn my flashlight on, and if you put your flashlight inside your cup and you shine it at the constellation up against a wall in a dark room, you should be able to see your constellation being projected onto the wall. You can kind of see it on my wall. I see all the stars from my angle, and it goes like that, and then into the cup. I'm not sure how well you guys see it in the video, but it looks really cool in real life. So here we have made a device to project our constellation. There's a really cool addition to this experiment. You could take it a step further. I can't do it myself because it requires 2 flashlights and 2 people, but I'll walk through the steps. So if you have one person projecting the constellation up against the wall, so you can kind of see it, you can have another person with a second flashlight act like the sun. So if the sun, you can have the sun rise up into the sky like it does during the day. You could see it shining against the wall, pretty bright here. And then you can have the sun set. And all the while, your second person is projecting the constellation onto the wall. The kind of addition to this experiment asks the question, what happens to the stars that are shining on the wall when the sun rises into the sky during the day and then sets at night? If you figure it out, leave a comment to tell me what happens. And thank you so much for watching Science from Home. We'll see you another time.